Have you ever felt completely drained, like life just keeps throwing things at you, and no matter how hard you try, it's hard to keep up? You know, deep down, you're capable of being more resilient, more grounded, but somehow your emotions still end up running the show. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. But here's the truth. Emotional strength isn't about pushing harder or pretending everything's fine. It's about learning how to master your inner world. In today's episode, we're diving into 10 powerful habits inspired by Stoic philosophy that can help you build real emotional strength. The Stoics believed that true strength doesn't come from avoiding pain or chasing validation. It comes from within, from how you respond to life's chaos, from learning to stay calm, think clearly, and act with intention. Imagine waking up with clarity, staying grounded when things go sideways, and finding strength in silence and self-awareness. These aren't abstract ideals, they're daily practices, and by incorporating them into your routine, you can completely shift how you feel, how you think, and how you show up in life. So, if you're ready to build the kind of inner strength that doesn't crumble under pressure, let's start with habit number one. 1. Start your day by identifying control. What's yours and what isn't? Every morning begins with a flood of thoughts. What you need to get done, who you need to talk to, what might go wrong. But how often do you pause and ask yourself, what do I actually control today? The truth is, a lot of our stress comes from trying to control things that aren't really ours to manage. We obsess over other people's opinions, worry about outcomes we can't predict, and drain our emotional energy trying to solve problems that aren't even in our hands. That's why the first habit for emotional strength is this: start each day by separating what you can control from what you can't. The Stoics were masters at this. They taught that life is made up of two categories: things that are within our control and things that aren't. And the path to peace and power comes from focusing only on the first. Take 5 seconds right now and think about today. What's in your control? Your thoughts, your attitude, your actions, your reactions, your decisions. That's it. Everything else, traffic, your boss's mood, the weather, someone else's opinion, is outside your control. Now, imagine starting your day by mentally listing the things you can control. You instantly shift from being reactive to being intentional. You stop wasting energy on things you can't change, and you start putting that focus into things you can actually influence. For example, let's say you've got a packed schedule today. Instead of stressing over how other people will behave in meetings, focus on how prepared you are, how clearly you'll communicate, and how you'll stay calm under pressure. That's your power. When you anchor your focus on what's truly within your sphere of influence, you regain a sense of control. And over time, this practice becomes second nature. The result: you stop spiraling over things you can't fix. You stop reacting emotionally to everything around you. And instead, you start owning your day with purpose, with calm, and with strength. The Stoics remind us, we don't control the world. We control our response to it. And that's where true strength begins. 2. Practice the inner pause. Choose your response, not your reaction. Have you ever said something in the heat of the moment, maybe out of anger or stress, and immediately regretted it? Yeah, we've all been there. Emotions can rise quickly. 1 second you're calm, the next you're snapping at someone or making a decision you didn't think through. That's the power of reaction, and it's why the second habit is so important. practice the inner pause. This means building a small moment of stillness between your emotion and your response. The Stoics knew this pause was everything. Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." We may not be able to stop an emotional wave from rising, but we absolutely can decide whether or not we ride it straight into chaos. So how do you do this? Let's say you feel a surge of anger or anxiety. Before doing anything, before speaking, texting, acting, pause. Count to 5. Take a slow breath. Step away for a moment if needed. That brief pause gives your logical brain time to catch up with your emotional brain. You're no longer reacting blindly, you're choosing your response. Let's say a coworker criticizes your work and you feel your blood start to boil. Instead of clapping back, you pause and ask yourself, what am I really feeling right now? And how do I want to handle this so I don't regret it later? That pause is where emotional strength is born. It breaks the cycle of impulsive reactions and replaces it with thoughtfulness, calm, and clarity. It doesn't mean you're bottling up emotions. It means you're not letting emotions make decisions for you. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes. Over time, you'll notice that even in the most stressful situations, you can stay centered, focused, and composed. And let's be real, who doesn't want that? 3. Be honest with yourself. Own your truth without shame. If there's one thing that blocks emotional growth more than anything else, it's denial. The truth is, sometimes the hardest person to be honest with is yourself. And that's what makes self-honesty the third essential habit for emotional strength. The Stoics believed that we can't grow if we're not willing to face ourselves honestly. That means acknowledging our flaws, admitting when we've made mistakes, and confronting the patterns that hold us back. It's easy to blame the world for our problems. It's harder, but far more powerful to say, this part is on me. Maybe you've stayed in a relationship you know is wrong. Maybe you've avoided a hard truth about your career or a personal habit that's hurting you. The moment you face it head on, even if it stings, something shifts. You get clarity. And with clarity comes power, the power to change. Self-honesty isn't about self-shaming. It's not about guilt. It's about seeing the full picture, your strengths, your weaknesses, your potential, and choosing to work with all of it, not just the parts that are easy to look at. Start small. Take 5 minutes a day to ask yourself, what am I avoiding? What's the hard truth I need to face? What's holding me back right now? It's in these quiet moments of reflection that emotional strength begins to take root. When you stop hiding, you start healing. And when you own your truth without excuses, you step into the strongest, most authentic version of yourself. Want to continue building your emotional strength? Let me know and I'll deliver part 2, where we'll explore even more life-changing Stoic habits like mastering daily reflection gratitude and the art of letting go. 4. Reflect on daily events. Carry a mirror for your life. Let me ask you something. At the end of the day, do you ever take time to reflect on how you handled things? Or do you just crash, scroll through your phone, and get ready to do it all over again tomorrow? Most of us are so busy moving from one task to the next that we never pause to look back. But here's a powerful truth. Self-reflection is one of the greatest tools for emotional strength. And that's what the 4th habit is all about, carving out time each day to review your thoughts, reactions, and choices. The Stoics practiced this daily. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, kept a journal his meditations, where he reflected on how he lived, where he fell short, and how he could improve. This wasn't self-judgment, it was self-awareness, and that's the difference. So, why is this habit so powerful? Because it helps you understand yourself better. You learn to recognize patterns. You see where you handled something well and where your emotions may have taken the wheel. Think about the last emotionally intense moment you had. Maybe you snapped at someone. Maybe you shut down during a difficult conversation. Did you ever pause to think, why did I react that way? That's what reflection gives you, the insight you need to respond differently next time. And the beautiful thing, you don't need an hour for this. Just 5 minutes at the end of the day. Ask yourself, what did I do well today? Where could I have responded differently? How did I handle stress, pressure, or conflict? What can I learn from it? When you do this regularly, you start to catch yourself in real time. You become more emotionally agile, more in tune, more composed. And here's the key. This habit isn't just about fixing mistakes. It's also about celebrating progress. If you stayed calm in a moment where you'd usually explode, that's a win. If you communicated better today than yesterday, another win. Every small step forward matters, and acknowledging it fuels your confidence and resilience. So, tonight, before you go to bed, take a moment to reflect. It's one of the simplest, most powerful ways to build emotional strength one day at a time. 5. Practice daily gratitude. Remember what you already have. Let's face it, modern life is loud. We're constantly being told what we don't have. A better job, a better body, a bigger following, more money, more time, more everything. It's exhausting. And if we're not careful, we fall into the trap of always chasing, never appreciating. That's why the 5th habit is a game-changer. Practice daily gratitude. The Stoics were huge on this. Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Gratitude isn't about pretending everything's perfect. It's about training your mind to see what's already good, even when things are hard. Because here's the truth, you can feel overwhelmed and grateful at the same time. You can face challenges and still recognize what's beautiful in your life. Gratitude is the emotional anchor that keeps you grounded when the world feels chaotic. Start simple. Each morning or before bed, list 3 things you're grateful for. Don't overthink it. It could be a good conversation you had today, a warm meal, the fact that you woke up and got another shot at life. Over time, this habit shifts your mental focus. You start noticing blessings instead of deficiencies. You start living in abundance, not scarcity. And this isn't just about feeling good. It's about building resilience. When life gets tough, people who practice gratitude bounce back faster. They don't ignore problems. They just don't let problems define their entire reality. Gratitude is also contagious. When you express appreciation to others, it strengthens your relationships. It builds trust, connection, and emotional safety. So, if you want to build real emotional strength, don't wait for something huge to happen. Start with the little things. Look around. What's working in your life right now? What's worth celebrating, even if no one else notices? Train your mind to see it, acknowledge it, and say thank you, because the more grateful you are, the more emotionally unshakable you become. 6. Learn the art of letting go. Accept loss as part of life. Let's talk about something that's hard to admit but impossible to avoid loss. Loss comes in many forms. The end of a relationship, a job you didn't get, a version of your life you were hoping for that just didn't happen. And when loss hits, it hurts. We feel sad, angry, even afraid. It's easy to feel stuck, like something essential has been ripped away. But here's a truth the Stoics lived by: loss is not the end. It's part of life. Marcus Aurelius put it like this: loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight. That may sound harsh at first, but there's deep wisdom there. The sixth habit for emotional strength is to learn the art of letting go, to embrace the reality that everything is temporary, and that clinging to what's gone only deepens the pain. Now, letting go doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you forget or act like it didn't matter. It means you acknowledge the loss, feel the emotions, and then choose to move forward. Ask yourself, what am I still holding on to that no longer serves me? An old grudge, a dream that no longer aligns with who I've become, a version of myself I've outgrown. Often we hold on because we're scared of what comes next. But in reality, letting go creates space for new opportunities, new growth, and new peace. This practice also applies to the need for external validation. So many of us hold on to people, titles, or achievements because they make us feel enough. But real emotional strength comes when you realize that you were enough all along. Letting go is liberating. It removes the emotional weight of the past and invites us to live fully in the present. So, here's a small way to practice today. Pick one thing you've been carrying emotionally and choose to release it. Write it down, say it out loud, acknowledge the loss, and let it float away. Not because it didn't matter, but because you matter more. Ready for more? Let me know and I'll continue with part 3, where we'll explore how to set priorities, practice mental detachment, and define your purpose. 3 more powerful habits to help you stay grounded, focused, and emotionally strong. ChatGPT.noi, part 3 of 8, rewritten YouTube, script, 10 habits that make you emotionally stronger, inspired by Stoic philosophy. 7. Set clear priorities. Know what truly matters. Let's be honest. How many times have you ended a busy day feeling like you got nothing important done? You were on the move from morning till night, emails, errands, messages, meetings, and yet none of it really moved the needle. None of it felt meaningful. That's the trap we fall into when we let other people's agendas, random noise, and endless distractions run our day. That's why habit number 7 is a big one. Set clear priorities. This is about more than just productivity. This is about emotional clarity. Because here's the truth: when everything feels urgent, nothing truly important gets done. Emotional strength isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters most on purpose. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius wrote often about the importance of focusing only on the essentials, saying, "If you seek tranquility, do less, or do what's essential." So how do you do that in your daily life? Start by asking one powerful question: what will I never regret giving my time to? That question cuts through the noise. It forces you to focus on the actions, people, and goals that truly align with your values. And once you know your priorities, protect them ruthlessly. Say no to the things that don't matter, even if they're urgent. Say yes to the things that nourish your growth, your peace, your purpose, even if they're quiet. Let's get practical for a second. Take 5 minutes to write down your top 3 long-term goals, the daily habits that help move you toward them, the distractions or obligations that are stealing your time. Now, match your time to your priorities. Does it align? If not, it's time to adjust. This habit isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. When you know your priorities, you feel less scattered. You reduce emotional fatigue. You create space for clarity and progress. Because here's the deal. You only get one shot at today. Don't waste it reacting to everyone else's chaos. Take the reins. Define what matters and protect it like your peace depends on it, because it does. 8. Practice mental detachment. Be present without getting overwhelmed. In today's world, we're constantly being bombarded news headlines, social media, other people's opinions, pressure to succeed, pressure to respond, pressure to keep up. No wonder we feel mentally exhausted, emotionally pulled in 10 directions, spiritually scattered. That's where habit 8 comes in: practice mental detachment. Now, let's be clear, detachment doesn't mean not caring. It doesn't mean tuning out or becoming numb. It means creating space between you and the chaos. It's the ability to observe a situation without letting it consume you, to experience life fully without being emotionally hijacked by every twist and turn. Think of it like this. When someone criticizes you, do you spiral into insecurity? When plans fall through, do you let it ruin your whole day? When people disagree with you, does your mood crash? Mental detachment is the habit of saying, I see what's happening, I feel what I feel, but I'm not going to let this define me. The Stoics taught this constantly. Epictetus said, we cannot control the impressions others form about us, and the effort to do so only debases our character. Translation: don't give your power away. Here's a quick exercise to start practicing this habit. The next time something triggers you, pause. Ask, is this within my control? If the answer is no, breathe and let it go. You don't have to respond to everything. You don't have to take every comment personally. You don't have to carry every problem as if it's yours to fix. This detachment creates emotional boundaries. It lets you stay present in your life without getting tangled in everything around you. Over time, you'll find that your peace no longer rises and falls with the moods of others or the chaos of the world. You'll still care. You'll still show up, but you'll do it with clarity, with composure, and with a kind of quiet power that can't be shaken by noise. Because when your mind is yours, not constantly pulled, poked, and provoked, you become emotionally unshakable. 9. Set a daily purpose. What's your why for today? Let me ask you a simple question. Why did you wake up today? Not just biologically, but spiritually, emotionally, intentionally. If you don't have an answer, you're not alone. Most people wake up and get swept into the day emails, tasks, obligations, without ever defining a purpose. And that's why so many people feel unfulfilled even after checking off a long to-do list. The 9th habit is to set a daily purpose, a simple but powerful practice that gives your day meaning and direction. This isn't about making some epic life plan. It's about choosing one small thing each day that matters to you. Maybe today your purpose is to be patient in a tough conversation. Maybe it's to focus fully on a project that lights you up. Maybe it's just to take care of your body and rest. Whatever it is, naming it gives you focus. The Stoics knew this well. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, and your thoughts become sharper when your intentions are clear." Here's how to practice. Every morning, ask yourself, what will make today meaningful? Write it down. Keep it simple. Let that purpose guide your actions and decisions. At the end of the day, when you reflect, remember habit hash 4, you'll feel a sense of progress, even if it was just one purposeful step. Purpose doesn't have to be grand. It just has to be real. And when you make this a habit, setting a purpose each day, you start stringing together meaningful moments. And those moments, they become a meaningful life. Coming up next, part 4, where we'll wrap everything together, how these 10 habits work as a system, how to stay consistent, and how to build the emotional strength to weather anything life throws your way. Let me know when you're ready to continue. Part 4 of 8, rewritten YouTube script, 10 habits that make you emotionally stronger, inspired by Stoic philosophy. 10. Build the muscle of consistency, small efforts. Big impact. You've heard the habits. You've reflected on the principles. Maybe you've even nodded your head a few times thinking, yeah, that makes sense. But here's the truth no one likes to admit. Knowing what to do and actually doing it consistently are two very different things. That's why the final and perhaps most overlooked habit is this: build the muscle of consistency. Emotional strength doesn't come from one big moment of breakthrough. It comes from small, repeated acts of intentional living. It's not the deep breath you take once, it's the habit of pausing every time emotions rise. It's not writing in a journal for a week, it's showing up day after day, even when you don't feel like it. And here's where most people get stuck. They expect change to feel dramatic, fast, and obvious. But real growth, it's quiet, it's slow, it's boring. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. Seneca once wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." And I'd add, nor without discipline. Consistency is what takes all 9 habits we've talked about and turns them into a way of life. So how do you stay consistent without burning out? Let's break it down. 1. Start tiny. Don't try to overhaul your entire life overnight. Pick one habit. Maybe it's journaling for 5 minutes at night. Maybe it's naming your purpose each morning. Start with something so small it feels almost too easy. Why? Because small habits are sustainable, and sustainability beats intensity every time. 2. Stack your habits. Pair new habits with existing routines. For example, right after you brush your teeth, pause to identify what you can control today. Or when you close your laptop at the end of work, take 2 minutes to reflect on how you handled your emotions that day. Attaching habits to something you already do makes them easier to remember and harder to skip. 3. Track your wins. Use a journal, a checklist, or even a simple note on your phone. Every time you follow through on a habit, check it off. Over time, you'll start seeing momentum, and that momentum is incredibly motivating. 4. Forgive slips, recommit fast. You'll mess up, you'll skip days, you'll forget. That's not failure that's being human. What matters is what you do next. Don't beat yourself up. Don't make it dramatic. Just recommit and move forward. Remember, perfection is not the goal. Consistency is. How the 10 habits work together and why that matters. Now let's zoom out and connect the dots. You might be wondering, how do I actually use all these habits without feeling overwhelmed? Great question. Because here's the beauty of these 10 habits: they don't exist in isolation. They form a system, a rhythm, a loop of self-awareness, control, and purpose. Let's break it down. You start your day by identifying what's in your control. Habit 1, and setting a clear purpose. Habit 9. Throughout the day, you practice the inner pause before reacting. Habit 2, you stay honest with yourself. Habit 3, and you detach from the chaos around you. Habit 8, you keep your priorities in focus. Habit 7, and when life throws curveballs, you let go of what no longer serves you. Habit 6, in the evening, you reflect. Habit 4, and no matter what happened, you return to gratitude. Habit 5, and through all of it, you commit to consistency. Habit 10, it's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about having a framework that helps you stay grounded when things get messy. It's about emotional navigation. Just like a sailor doesn't control the sea, but learns to master the sail. You don't control life, but you can absolutely learn to steer your emotional ship. What this looks like in real life. Let's put this into a real-life example. Imagine you're going into a high-stress day. A big presentation at work, unresolved conflict with a loved one, and a mountain of tasks waiting. Without these habits, your day might go something like this. You wake up already anxious. You spiral about everything that could go wrong. Someone cuts you off in traffic and you snap. Your boss gives feedback and it ruins your mood. You go to bed exhausted, wondering where the day even went. Now let's add just a few of the Stoic habits. You start the morning by reminding yourself what you can control: your preparation, your attitude, your breath. You set your purpose today: I will stay calm and do my best. You get irritated during the presentation, but instead of reacting, you pause, breathe, and respond thoughtfully. After the day ends, you reflect on what you did well and what you want to improve tomorrow. Before bed, you write down 3 things you're grateful for, and tomorrow you do it again. Same life, different mindset, different strength. Final thoughts. This is a long game. If you take one thing away from this episode, let it be this: emotional strength is not about having it all together. It's about showing up with intention, with awareness, and with courage, day after day. The Stoics didn't aim for perfection. They aimed for progress. And that's what I want for you. Not to fake being okay, not to tough it out in silence, but to build a set of daily habits that ground you in truth, purpose, and resilience. Because the more you practice, the less you'll be shaken by things you can't control. The more you reflect, the more you'll respond, not react. And the more you live with intention, the stronger you become. In Part 5, we'll shift focus slightly and go deeper into how to integrate Stoic practices into your modern lifestyle, including specific morning routines, evening reflections, and quick exercises you can use even in the middle of chaos. Part 5 of 8, Rewritten YouTube Script, 10 Habits that Make You Emotionally Stronger, inspired by Stoic philosophy. Making it practical, bringing Stoic wisdom into modern life. Okay, so now you understand the 10 habits. But maybe you're wondering, how do I actually do this in real life when I've got a million things going on? That's exactly what this part is about, because wisdom is only powerful when it's usable. And the Stoics, they weren't sitting in ivory towers writing theory. They were warriors, emperors, ex-slaves, people living messy, chaotic lives just like ours. So let's turn philosophy into practice. Let's break down how to build these habits into your daily routine without needing 2 hours and a monastery. Your morning anchor, the day before it starts. Let's start with mornings. Because how you begin your day matters more than most people think. It sets your emotional tone, your mental clarity, and your overall momentum. Here's a Stoic-inspired morning routine that takes less than 15 minutes. 1. Identify what you control. Habit 1. Before you even check your phone, ask yourself, what's in my control today? Write down 3 things. Maybe it's your focus, your intention, your reactions. This small act trains your brain to filter out distractions and focus only on what you can influence. 2. Set a daily purpose habit. Next. Ask yourself, what would make today meaningful? Pick one thing. Maybe it's staying calm under pressure. Maybe it's being present with your family. Maybe it's finishing one important task. 1 sentence is enough. 3. Gratitude, grounding habit. 5. Write or say out loud 3 things you're grateful for. Don't overthink it. It could be your morning coffee, your dog, or even the fact that you woke up. This 3-step morning ritual centers your mind and emotionally equips you before the day starts pushing back. During the day, emotional strength in action. Now, let's talk about applying the habits when life starts getting messy, which, let's be honest, happens by 9 a.m. most days. These are your in-the-moment tools designed for real life. 1. The inner pause. Habit 2. Whenever you feel triggered, angry, anxious, overwhelmed, pause. Take 1 deep breath. Count to 5. Ask yourself, is this emotion helping me respond well or just reacting? That pause changes everything. You go from automatic to intentional. 2. Mental detachment. Habit 8. When something external starts messing with your internal peace, maybe a rude comment or unexpected change practice, a quick mental exercise. This is not within my control. I will not give it my energy. Repeat it. Say it like a mantra if you need to. This mental distancing protects your focus, clarity, and energy. 3. Check your priorities. Habit 7. If your day starts spinning out, emails, piling up, phone buzzing, distractions everywhere, pull back and ask, is what I'm doing right now aligned with what really matters? If not, redirect. It's okay to pause, reset, and get back to what counts. Evening, reflection, growth, and letting go. Your evening is where you grow, because that's when the lessons of the day get processed and your emotional foundation gets built. You don't need an hour. Just 10 minutes of quiet reflection can change your entire trajectory. Here's your evening Stoic routine. 1. Self-reflection. Habit 4. Ask yourself, what did I do well today? Where could I have responded better? What did I learn about myself? Write it down or just think through it. This is your internal feedback loop. No shame, no guilt, just honest growth. 2. Embrace honesty. Habit 3. Was there something you avoided today? A truth you didn't want to face? Take a deep breath and confront it. Growth lives on the other side of honesty. 3. Let go. Habit 6. Release what no longer serves you. That thing you're still replaying in your head, let it go. Visualize it leaving your mind. Say, I can't control this anymore. I choose peace. This isn't denial, it's strength, and it creates emotional space for tomorrow. Micro habits, tiny acts that reinforce strength. Not every habit needs a block of time. Some habits are best practiced in 60 seconds or less. These are your micro habits, the tiny hinges that swing big emotional doors. Here are a few to sprinkle throughout your day. Pause before speaking. Feel the urge to lash out. Breathe first. Repeat a Stoic affirmation. I control my mind. No one can steal my peace. Only my judgment can harm me. Quick gratitude scan. Glance around and name one thing you're thankful for right now. Purpose reset. Lost focus. Whisper to yourself, what's my purpose today? Then refocus. These micro habits are small, but they reinforce the bigger ones. And over time, they rewire how you process life. This is not about perfection. Here's something you need to hear. You're not going to do this perfectly, and that's okay. You're going to snap sometimes, forget to reflect, get overwhelmed, feel stuck. That doesn't mean you failed. That means you're human. Emotional strength isn't about being unshakable. It's about coming back to yourself over and over again, quietly, consistently, kindly. What you're doing isn't easy. You're training yourself to live differently, to choose growth over comfort, stillness over chaos, reflection over reaction. And every time you practice, even imperfectly, you're becoming stronger. Not loud, flashy strength, but quiet, real enduring strength. In Part 6, we'll go even deeper and look at how to handle emotional pain, setbacks, and failure using Stoic tools. Because the hard times, that's where this philosophy shines brightest. Part 6 of 8, rewritten YouTube script, 10 habits that make you emotionally stronger. Inspired by Stoic philosophy, facing emotional pain the Stoic way. Now, let's talk about something real. Something that every single one of us will face at some point: emotional pain. The heartbreak, the betrayal, the failure you didn't see coming, the loss you didn't think you'd have to bear, the overwhelming sense that something is broken inside and no one really gets it. We all experience it, and when that wave hits, most people either run from it or let it drown them. But the Stoics, they didn't avoid pain. They faced it directly with calm courage and clarity. That's why their wisdom still matters. In this part, we're going to explore how to handle emotional pain with Stoic strength without shutting down or pretending you're fine. Because, guess what? You can feel pain and still be strong. Pain is not your enemy. Your resistance is one of the core teachings of Stoic philosophy. Is this pain itself isn't what causes our suffering, it's our resistance to it. Think about that. It's not the heartbreak that hurts the most. It's the belief that this shouldn't have happened. It's not the failure that breaks us. It's the story we attach to it. I'm not enough. I'll never succeed. Epictetus said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them." That means your suffering doesn't come from events. It comes from your interpretation of those events. And that's powerful because it means you can change the way you experience pain by changing your relationship with it. Step 1. Allow the pain to exist. This might surprise you, but the first Stoic move isn't to fix anything. It's to feel it, to observe it, to allow it, because pain, when ignored, festers. But pain that's allowed to exist in the open, it softens. It starts to teach you something. Try this. When pain hits, Don't immediately distract yourself. Don't reach for your phone, the bottle, or someone to vent to. Just sit, feel, breathe. Say to yourself, this hurts, but I'm still here. You're not weak for feeling. You're strong for facing it. Step 2. Separate the pain from the narrative. This one is crucial. Pain is an experience, but the narrative is what turns it into suffering. For example, pain, I got rejected from the job. Narrative, I'll never be good enough. Pain, they left me. Narrative, no one will ever love me. See the difference? The Stoics teach us to separate the event from the judgment. That judgment, that's your choice. That's your power. So when you're hurting, pause and ask, what am I telling myself about this pain? Then challenge it. Because your thoughts will try to define you by your pain. But you don't have to accept that. Step 3. Reclaim what you can control. You can't control what hurts you, but you can absolutely control what you do next. You can control your thoughts, your breath, the meaning you choose to attach, the next step you take. And sometimes that next step is small. Taking a shower, sending one email, getting out of bed, sitting in the sun for 5 minutes. That's Stoicism in action. Not grand, not flashy, just steady. Step 4. Use the pain as fuel. Here's where it gets beautiful. Pain can either close your heart or open it wider. It can either leave you bitter or make you wiser. It can either break you down or break you open. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." That means your pain can become your path. Use it. Write from it. Speak from it. Create from it. Love through it. Let it shape you, not shatter you. Practicing Stoic resilience during setbacks. Let's shift gears and talk about setbacks. Those times when your plans fall apart, your efforts seem wasted, or life just doesn't cooperate. Setbacks test you, but they don't define you. The Stoics approached setbacks not as roadblocks, but as redirections. When life said no, they asked, what now, not why me? Let's say you fail at something important. A business, a relationship, a goal you've worked toward for years. Instead of spiraling into shame or blaming the world, you stop and ask, what is this moment trying to teach me? How can I adapt without collapsing? What's still within my power? Because emotional strength isn't about avoiding disappointment. It's about staying connected to your values even when things fall apart. You remain honest. You stay calm. You pivot. That's resilience. That's Stoic leadership from the inside out, turning failures into fuel. You know what's underrated? Failing well. Most people fail and quit, or fail and pretend it didn't happen, or fail and spend years hating themselves. But what if failure was just feedback? What if the very thing that didn't work out was pointing you somewhere better? The Stoics didn't romanticize failure, but they didn't fear it either, because they knew that every failure was an opportunity to refine your process, strengthen your mindset, deepen your character. Next time you fail, do this. Reflect what actually happened. Reframe. What can I learn? Re-engage. What's the next small step forward? This mindset turns every loss into a lesson and every breakdown into a rebuild. You're allowed to hurt, but you're not powerless. Let's end this part with a reminder. You're allowed to grieve. You're allowed to feel angry. You're allowed to cry, to scream, to sit in silence. But don't forget your power. Don't forget your tools. because inside you is a stillness that no storm can touch, a core of strength that doesn't need to be loud to be unshakable. You're not broken, you're becoming. You're not lost, you're learning. You're not failing, you're transforming. And these Stoic habits, they're here to guide you through it all. In Part 7, we'll explore how to navigate difficult people and toxic environments with emotional discipline, grace, and strength without losing your mind or your values. Part 7 of 8. Rewritten YouTube script. 10 habits that make you emotionally stronger, inspired by Stoic philosophy. Navigating difficult people and toxic environments. The Stoic response. Let's talk about one of the biggest emotional challenges we face, not just in personal growth, but in daily life. People, more specifically, difficult people. The coworker who constantly undermines you, the relative who pushes every button, the friend who only shows up when they need something, or worse, the toxic boss, the manipulative partner, the judgmental stranger online. You can do all the inner work in the world, but the moment you step into a room filled with tension or manipulation, it's easy to feel like all your progress just evaporated. But it doesn't have to be that way. This is where Stoic emotional strength becomes real, not in theory, but in practice. Because Stoicism doesn't teach you how to escape difficult people. It teaches you how to face them without losing your peace. Rule #1. They don't control you unless you let them. Let's go back to the basics. Epictetus said, "Remember, it is not he who reviles you or strikes you who insults you, but your opinion that these things are insulting." It sounds radical, but here's what he meant. No one has the power to disturb your peace unless you hand it over. So, the person yelling at you, the troll online, the passive-aggressive comment in the meeting, they only affect you if you allow their behavior to define your emotional state. This doesn't mean tolerating abuse. This means learning to respond instead of reacting. It's about choosing. I don't have to join them in their storm. I can stay in my calm. That's not weakness. That's mastery. Rule #2. Understand their behavior. Don't take it personally. Here's something the Stoics understood deeply. Most people's behavior has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, whenever you are offended at someone's lack of shame, ask yourself, is it possible for there to be no shameless people in the world? The answer is no. So stop being surprised when someone's acting out, projecting, or manipulating. It's usually because of their pain, their insecurity, their worldview. That doesn't excuse it, but it explains it. And when you understand that, you can stop internalizing it. Imagine someone insults you in public. The automatic reaction is anger, but the Stoic response is curiosity. What pain made them act this way? What fear are they covering up? Do I need to let this into my mind, or can I let it pass through like smoke? That's power. That's grace. Rule #3. Protect your energy with boundaries. Let's be real, some environments and people are straight up toxic. And no matter how calm you are, if you stay in those environments long enough, they'll start eating away at your peace. That's why the next Stoic principle is this: emotional boundaries are not selfish. They're essential. A boundary can sound like, I'm not available for this conversation right now. Let's pause and revisit this when we're both calm. I'm not going to engage in gossip or drama. It can also mean physically stepping away. not responding to the text, saying no, leaving the room, choosing silence over conflict. You're not doing it to punish anyone. You're doing it to protect your mind. Because your peace, it's not up for debate. Rule hash 4. Master the art of non-reaction. This might be the hardest one, especially if you're naturally reactive. But the Stoics believed silence is often more powerful than a perfect argument. Seneca said, "A wise man is content with his own approval." You don't need to clap back. You don't need to prove your point every time. You don't need to match their energy. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is pause, breathe, smile or not, and say nothing. Because you know who you are. You know your values. You know your worth. And you don't need their validation to live in alignment with that. Non-reaction isn't weakness. It's discipline. It's saying, I will not let your chaos become mine. Rule hash 5. Reflect without carrying. After a difficult interaction, most people either obsess over it for hours, rehearse comebacks they never said, let it ruin their mood or their whole week. But the Stoic approach is different. Instead of carrying the weight of other people's behavior, you process and release. End your day by asking, how did I show up in that interaction? What could I have done better? What did I do well? What am I ready to let go of? This is where you grow. This is where you gain clarity. This is where you build your resilience. Because every difficult person is also a teacher if you're willing to reflect. Navigating toxic workplaces, relationships, and social media. Now let's get more specific. What about environments you can't just walk away from? 1. Toxic workplaces. You can't always quit on the spot, but you can. Set micro-boundaries. Avoid emotional entanglements. Focus on what you control: your effort, your attitude. Start building your exit strategy quietly if needed. Stoic strength means staying composed in hostile environments, not forever, but long enough to move wisely. 2. Toxic relationships. Whether it's romantic, familial, or friendship, Stoic clarity can help you name the patterns without excusing them. Decide if the connection aligns with your values. Speak your truth calmly and leave if necessary. Stoic strength doesn't mean staying in pain. It means leaving without bitterness when the time is right. 3. Social media and online negativity. You are not required to argue with strangers online. You are not obligated to defend yourself to trolls. Mute, block, log off, protect your focus. Your peace is a resource. Spend it wisely. Difficult people are inevitable, but they don't have to derail you. Let's end this part with a reality check. Difficult people are part of life. Always have been. Always will be. But here's the truth. You don't need them to change in order to have peace. You just need to understand what's within your control. Protect your emotional space and stay committed to your own values. That's what Stoic strength looks like in the real world. Not fighting every battle, but knowing which ones are worth your energy and which ones aren't. You become less reactive, more intentional, more rooted. And the best part, you start to radiate a calm strength that even difficult people can't ignore. In Part 8, we'll wrap everything up with a final roadmap, a blueprint to living a stoic, emotionally resilient life. You'll learn how to stack habits, track your emotional growth, and carry this wisdom into every season of your life. ChatGPT.noi. Part 8 of 8. Rewritten YouTube script. 10 Habits That Make You Emotionally Stronger, inspired by Stoic philosophy, your Stoic blueprint living with emotional strength for life. So here we are. You've walked through all 10 habits. You've reflected on your reactions. You've faced your pain. You've learned to hold your ground around difficult people. You've seen what's possible when you start showing up with clarity, purpose, and self-control. But now comes the most important part. How do you make this a lifestyle, not just something you think about every time life gets hard? This is your Stoic blueprint, a long-term roadmap to not just survive the chaos of the world, but to walk through it with our grace, strength, and peace. Let's break it down. Step 1. Stack your habits, one at a time. You don't need to master all 10 habits today. In fact, trying to do everything at once is the fastest way to burn out and give up. Instead, follow this rhythm. Choose one habit to focus on each week. Practice it intentionally every day. Reflect on what's working and what's getting in the way. For example, Week 1, practice the inner pause before reacting. Week 2, reflect on your day every night. Week 3, identify what you can control each morning. Stacking like this builds momentum, and momentum builds mastery. Step 2, create a daily system that works for you. Your blueprint doesn't need to look like mine or anyone else's, but it should be consistent and simple. Here's a flexible structure to try. Morning 5-10 minutes, ask what's in my control today. Define your daily purpose in one sentence. Name 3 things you're grateful for. Midday, 1-minute check-in. Ask, am I living my purpose today? Pause and reset if needed. Evening 10 mains, reflect. What did I do well? What can I learn? Let go of what you can't control. Reaffirm your values. You can journal this, think through it mentally, or speak it out loud. What matters most is that you keep showing up. Step 3, use challenges as training grounds. Most people try to avoid hard moments. Stoics saw them as training. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up, if thou wilt always look." That means every challenge, every emotional trigger, every conflict, every failure is a chance to practice awareness, strengthen your response, get closer to mastery. So the next time you face discomfort, don't flinch. Don't avoid. Lean in. Say to yourself, this is my training, this is my practice. And when you do that enough times, emotional strength stops being something you use. It becomes who you are. Step 4, track your emotional growth like a scientist. We track everything: calories, steps, followers, but most people never track how they're growing emotionally. But emotional awareness is measurable if you're willing to observe it. Create a simple journal or digital log. Once a week, ask, what emotion challenged me most this week? How did I respond to it compared to last month? Where did I stay centered? Where did I lose control? Even just reviewing your answers monthly will show you a pattern. Are you more patient than before? Are you less reactive? Do you bounce back faster? This reflection fuels self-trust. It reminds you that even if you're not where you want to be, you're not where you used to be. That's progress. That's resilience. Step 5, recommit weekly to who you're becoming. Every week, take 15 quiet minutes. Sit with a notebook, your coffee, or just your breath, and ask, who am I becoming? What kind of person do I want to be under pressure, in conflict, when no one's watching? What do I need to let go of this week to be that person? This weekly recommitment turns intention into identity. Because the truth is, we all get distracted. We all fall into old habits. But when you reset weekly, you stay aligned. You keep climbing even when the terrain gets steep. Final reflections. Emotional strength is a lifestyle. You've made it this far, and that means something. It means you're not just interested in feeling better for a day, you're committed to becoming better for life. So let's recap what this journey has taught us. The 10 habits to emotional strength. Identify what you can control. Practice the inner pause before reacting. Be honest with yourself. Reflect on daily events. Practice daily gratitude. Let go of what you can't hold forever. Set clear priorities. Practice mental detachment. Define a daily purpose. Stay consistent even when it's hard. Each one on its own is powerful, but when combined, they form a framework for emotional mastery. You'll still face hard days. You'll still get hurt. You'll still feel everything. But the difference is you'll know what to do with it. You'll move through life with grounded strength. You'll meet chaos with calm. You'll lead yourself when no one else knows what to do. And maybe, just maybe, you'll become the kind of person others look to when things fall apart, not because you're perfect, but because you're steady. One final challenge for you. Pick one habit to start today. Just one. Don't wait until Monday. Don't wait for a new month or a new year. Start with one act of emotional strength today. And if this video helped you, I have one simple request. Share it. Send it to someone who's struggling. Post it where others can find it. Let's build a community of people who aren't afraid to look inward and lead outward. Because the world doesn't need more noise. It needs more calm, more depth, more wisdom. It needs more of you at your strongest, most centered self. Thank you for being here. If you haven't already, hit that like, tap, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next video. More Stoic tools and life-changing insights are coming your way. Until next time, stay grounded, stay intentional, and never forget emotional strength isn't a destination, it's a daily practice.